We all write our own stories.
Where is Richard? I'd like to speak to him.
I'm here. This time, that's me, the Mero Mero, Mr. Richard Montañez. I'm the guy who helped bring the world the most popular snack it's ever seen.
Are you ready? A huevo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Building Community with NHMC. I'm Brenda Victoria Castillo, the first woman president and CEO of this fine organization. Today's episode is titled More Than a Movie, the Flamin Hot Panel. We're truly honored to welcome and celebrate members of the cast and crew of the hot new sensation, Flamin Hot. This film is breaking records for Hulu and Disney Plus and is Searchlight's #1 streaming film. Flamin Hot is more than a heartwarming story of success against all odds. It's a film that proves an audience and robust market exists for our community, for the Latinx content created by the community through all levels. It's a cry from our community and a statement of intent to the entertainment industry that shows that when we create, we direct, and we star in, it will be a huge success. And it's not just Flamin' Hot. Even as studios are canceling beloved shows by creatives of color, there are more and more star-studded projects by Latinx creatives all over the industry that are emerging. From the second season of With Love by our very own showrunner and NHMC Visionary Alliance member, Gloria Caldoren-Colette, to season 5 of Mayans MC with NHMC's Visionary Alliance member, Danny Pino. FUBAR featuring NHMC Visionary Alliance member, Gabriel Luna, Miles Morales, everyone's favorite Afro-Latino, Spider-Man in Across the Spider Universe, and Transformers, Rise of the Beast, to Blue Beetle that's going to come out in August. It's clear we are here to stay, and to echo NHMC's mission statement for this year, we are the rule, not the exception. So now let's get into the panel. I'm delighted and so honored to introduce our hermana, our NHMC Visionary Alliance member, Eva Longoria, and superstars, Annie Gonzalez and Jesse Garcia. Welcome to NHMC's Building Community.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Of course. So premiere weekend took place a week or two ago. How do you all feel?
It's been a whirlwind press tour, and it's great to see everyone's reaction to the movie and how it's touching people in different ways. How everyone thinks I remind them of their dad or their tío.
You remind me of my dad and my tío.
Eva, this is your first feature film as a director. So tell us what drew you to this project.
Richard's story is pretty inspiring and compelling. And I read the script and I thought, wow, I'm Mexican American and he's Mexican American. Why don't I know this story? I didn't know it. And I thought that's a problem. We never hear about our heroes, specifically in corporate America. And so I became obsessed with like, oh, I have to direct this. I was really lucky. It was set up at a major studio. It had an amazing producer on it. So they were just looking for somebody who had a vision to come in and be the director. And so, kind of what Jesse said, like this story's landing with everybody. It had already been set up at a studio because it had a bidding war. There was a bidding war for this, for his book, for his story. Most directors that ever came in on a project, I mean, his story is a universal story about, an underdog, about resilience, about perseverance, about overcoming obstacles, rags to riches, American dream. But he happens to be Mexican American, and so we're immensely proud of the work we've done on the film, but also now that we're doing and getting it out to our people.
And Jesse, I know that you're playing the main, character, Richard. And what was the process of auditioning for this? And I know you felt this role was for you.
Yeah, I knew that Richard, knew about Richard's story, and a couple years prior that they were going to do something with it, and I didn't know what it was. I thought whoever was going to get it was going to be the luckiest dude. And then I had a chance to read the script when I got the audition, and I felt like it was written for me. So I just had to kind of like, I put my work in and let these guys catch up, let them run through the rest of Latino Hollywood and and realize I was the right guy.
And Annie, you play a very strong Latina character. I love it. I related to Judy a lot. What drew you to this character?
Once I read the script, I mean, just the richness of the life she lived. She reminds of my mom, of my tias. She's everybody that has lifted me up and raised me. So it was a no-brainer to leap at the opportunity to play someone like that and someone who lived this life.
Eva, let's talk about you building your team. I mean, there was a lot of pressure. This is your first, film. And
Yeah.
I know that Devon Franklin, chose you out of everybody. I think there was 12 directors that he was interviewing. He speaks very highly of you and everybody. I mean, when I saw the film, you just have such a good eye. And as a viewer, I went through everything with Judy and Richard, and I related to a lot, the script, the scenes, even in the beginning, running from the police, the authorities. Believe me, I related to that too. So tell me, with this humongous pressure, because as you have said, Hollywood doesn't give us second chances, right?
Yeah.
How did you decide how to build your team, your empire, to make sure this film was going to be a success?
It was important for me that, this had a Latino lens. I mean, physically a Latino lens. I wanted a Latino DP. I wanted, people who had an authentic approach to our community. When you hire department heads, they are responsible for all the details of your movie. A prop, is that Cholula or Tapatio, or is that Louisiana hot stuff? That matters. We wanted to be authentic, and our costume designer, she's Mexican American, and all her references were her family. She's like, this is, my grandpa was a farm worker. I think the farm workers should look like this. My cousin was a cholo. I think, we can do this or this. And, we wanted to make sure we weren't doing caricatures of anybody in our movie. It's a love letter to the Mexican American community because of the crew we had. Everybody took such care of what we were going to put on screen, and everybody felt the responsibility of what we were trying to do and how we were trying to represent our community in a different way, in a way that people hadn't seen on screen before. We want everybody to see themselves reflected back at them, and to see the possibility of what we can be through Richard's story.
The writer that we all know, Yvette Chavez, is just amazing. Why was it important to have Yvette work on this script?
I was in love with Linda. I had read a spec script of hers, and I was a fan of Hentified. But her voice is so unique to Richard's experience. She's Chicana, Mexicana, Americana from LA. She grew up with the legend of Richard Montañez, and so she really understood the gravity of what we had to deliver. And she is so talented. Like, she's just a talented writer, and she writes in the voice of our community. And I think that's why Jesse and Annie were able to seamlessly melt into these roles, because they were written so well, and we don't get those roles all the time. We don't get to bite into a meaty, complex characters on screen. And so that's a result of Linda understanding the complexity of our people.
This is a love story, an intimate story of a partnership between, Judy and Richard. How, you guys had such great chemistry between you. How did you get to that point that it seemed so natural for the two of you to be in that character? And when did you find out that, it was going to, Jesse, when did you find out it was going to be Annie, and Annie, when did you find out it was going to be Jesse? Did you guys know each other from before?
I've been a big fan of Jesse Garcia's for a very long time. I've admired his work for a very long time. So when I found out that we were going to be testing together, when both of us found out, we decided to meet up and hang out, and literally upon entering his beautiful home and him being so gracious, I was like, oh, this is easy.
Just because I was feeding her.
And that's why it was easy. You know what I mean? Like, I get what I want and he gets a beautiful girl sitting on his couch. Like, what more?
So,
No, it was great.
Jesse, what did you cook for Annie?
He said, I'm just gonna whip up a snack. He made some Chilean sea bass, some like sauteed vegetables and like a cashew cream sauce. Like, just, it was like, yeah, I was in love.
Something simple.
Something simple.
So what would you consider, guys, what was the hardest scene and then the most enjoyable scene for you two?
You know, making a movie is not easy, and it's also it's kind of like, if you have the right people around you, it's not the most difficult thing in the world. You know, we had a great team surrounding everybody. Everyone is a good great support system. We have a strong leader and Eva, and then and Devon, and a great writing. You know, all the puzzle pieces were there. We just had to like figure out where they all were placed, and it wasn't painful at all. You know, it was some hard days like every other project, but it was it's one of those ones where everything was kind of working.
That's exactly what it was. It was just a beautiful experience.
You
I
know,
think something you love.
And for Annie, you know, this is her first feature film. And so I think, you know, the biggest challenge that for Annie was being on a film set. And it was, I had no idea, you wouldn't have noticed that it was her first feature, because she handled it with such grace and confidence. And you know, she's like, yep, I know it, I get it, I'm doing it. Anything I gave her, I threw at her, she's like, got it. And that comes from being a seasoned actor on a set. And so she just blew us away. And during press, she's like, so, you know, for it being my first movie, I'm like, why do you keep saying that? She's like, because it was my first film. I was like, oh my God.
This is to all of you. What kind of impact do you think this movie, you know, like this and the roles what does it do for Latina representation for us as a community?
I think it inspires. I mean, that's the point of the movie, is to inspire our community to see a story like Richard's and go, wow, if that guy went through all of that and still succeeded in life, like imagine what I can do. It's a feel-good movie. You walk out feeling really good about yourself and about your community. And that's, again, the love letter that I wanted to write to our community, because we haven't seen ourselves portrayed that way very much. And I also hope people support it in the way that we need them to. You know, we are the #1 streaming movie in the history of Searchlight, which is like, yes, we did it, we showed up, but we kind of keep our foot on the gas. And that's the responsibility of our community and our audience. You know, there's a lot of complaints. There's not enough representation in TV and film, but when we make the projects, the audience doesn't show up sometimes. And so I'm so blessed and happy and lucky that our audience showed up for this movie. But I would encourage our gente to go a step further and keep watching it and keep playing it, because every time you push play, that's your vote, that's your voice to Hollywood saying we want more like this, because the metric of success is still economics.
And believe me, Eva, that first weekend I played it on Hulu for my Mac. Then I went to the living room, played it on
yes, that's what we need. And we need that. And by the way, it worked. And we're the #1 streaming movie in the world right now. And that's huge.
It is. It broke records, and we got to continue to do that. And our viewers, I mean, you have the power. Our viewers have the power to make or break film, because we're 25% of the people who purchase those tickets or on streaming. So we have the power. Eva, you know that there's not a lot of female directors, and especially Latina directors.
Yeah.
So what drew you creatively to decide that you wanted to direct? And a lot of people don't know that you've actually been directing. You directed for TV before. This is something you've been working towards. It just wasn't handed to you.
Yeah, no, gosh, no. I love people are like, oh, this is so easy because you're Eva Longoria. No, I had to fight for the job because I had a vision for this film, but I didn't have the body of work of that vision. So I couldn't get the job, and you can't get the job if you don't have the body of work. And so I think that's something that I know why I got behind the camera to produce and direct, is because I want to build the pipeline of talent that I know is in our community that just don't get the opportunity. And you know, if you know, I'm at a stage in my career and I still have to fight for, you know, directing something, you know, imagine somebody with less experience or a less of a voice. So for me, it's definitely important that we continue to, um, like I said, keep our foot on the gas, but like, let's all, you know, the success of Flaming Hot is our success. It's everybody's success. It's every actor that wants to see themselves on screen. It's every Latina that wants to get behind the cameras, for every woman who wants to shoot a movie. You know, because then people can point to this and go, oh, that worked. Why don't we do more of that?
Well, I'm just so proud of all of you, and you know, it's unique when the President of the United States and First Lady actually screens your film
Yeah.
at the White House.
I know.
So, I mean,
I
my
can't
God,
believe it.
I
How
know.
much better can
I
it get?
know.
I mean, we're really happy that they're recognizing our contributions to the media. That's a big vote of confidence to say, you matter.
You matter, we matter, you know, we have the power, and I just love all of you. Thank you, Eva,
Thank you.
Annie, and
Thank you,
Jesse, for
Brenda.
joining us today. And to you, the viewers, thank you for tuning in and keeping up with NHMC's civil and human rights movement by following us on social media platforms. Remember, push play, play, play. Hulu,
Play.
Disney Plus,
Hulu and Disney Plus.
Flamin Hot, both of them. Until the next time, thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Burns good or burns bad? It burns good.
Oh!